Right, so today we are going to be judging people's deep, dark secrets, and some of them are insane. All right, first up, I dumped my girlfriend after she brought up marriage. Cold start. My father died when I was in high school and left a lot of money. Then my brother, my only sibling, died 6 years later from a ruptured aorta, which pretty much left everything between me and my mum. Straight in with this one, jeez. I had started dating this girl for a couple of years. We talked about our future together and I started to become slightly bothered by her dream to be a stay-at-home mum. I make good money and get money from a trust fund, but I'm not rich. My mum died 2 weeks after being diagnosed with cancer last year. This person, everyone around them is dropping like flies. It was surreal. I'm the only person left in my immediate family and I'm only 36. This is honestly heartbreaking. I'd moved out of state and have no interest in living in my childhood home, so I put it up for sale and got $2 million in Los Angeles. All of a sudden, my girlfriend wanted to get married. Okay, eyebrows are being raised. I don't know how quick all of a sudden was or how long they've been dating, but yeah, suspicious. It rubbed me the wrong way. It felt like she was trying to secure her future. Whereas I'm in mourning, she's talking about taking a luxurious vacation that I know she can't afford, but I can. Like I'm supposed to thank her for suggesting that I take her to Bali. They're not really giving us enough to go on here. Like, if the girlfriend's saying, let's make the best of a bad situation, you've lost all these people, it's awful, you're obviously in mourning, but at the same time, you've gained all this money, why not take some time off and go on a luxury vacation? You know, maybe you'll feel a little bit better. Obviously, it's not going to change anything, but, you know, maybe you'd rather be crying in Bali than sat at home. So I kind of am on her side here if that's all she's getting at. I tested her and said that even if we get married, my family's money would stay with me, and she got mad. She made all these plans of getting married, having kids, and being a housewife, whereas I just finance it. And if I died, everything my parents worked for would go to her. I mean, that kind of is what a marriage is, isn't it? Like, if I had the money, I would probably rather my partner stay at home and be with the kids rather than working if she didn't need to. It's really hard to tell how these conversations come up and how she's going about it, because technically I don't know if she's saying a lot wrong so far. Anyway, I told her we needed to break up. She accused me of picking money over her, and I told her she cared more about my money than me. The truth is that if she had not tried to insert herself into my inheritance and let me mourn and supported me, then we'd still be together. Interesting. So maybe there wasn't enough from her outside of the money stuff to be like, you actually do care about me. I think everything she's saying is kind of valid, but at the same time, you know, is she emotionally supporting him? Is she being like, this money doesn't actually mean anything? You know, like, if you want to spend the money, keep the money, whatever, it doesn't really matter to me, but given the choice, I'd much rather be a stay-at-home mum, you know? If she's saying like, oh, I can finally live my dream, and kind of not really letting him mourn, not supporting him, I'm on his side. I just don't think he's said enough, but there are some bonus information bits here. So edit, I put myself in her shoes and said that would be a wonderful thing to stay at home with your kids and not worry about money. I agree. I wished I had kids because that's what I would do now. Okay, so their interests kind of do align here. Another one, regarding my health, I'm okay. My dad did pass away from a heart attack at 46. That is quite young. He was an asshole who knew he was high risk, but didn't eat healthy and wasn't physically active. Also, he ignored the warning signs, okay? My brother didn't die from a heart attack. He was born with a defect that required a stent and regular checkups. My brother didn't do that. Had he done that, then they would have seen his stent was leaking. He didn't go to the doctor because he didn't want to be lectured on his weight. I get my regular physical and everything is fine, but I could lose some weight. Aside from my sweet tooth, I'm healthy. I don't even drink coffee and I work out 4 times a week. Interesting. So there wasn't actually that much information added other than like, I'm not planning on dying anytime soon, which I guess means that she's less likely to be a gold digger. I think that's what he's getting at, because it's not like she's going, oh, I'm going to marry him and then he'll die shortly after. But to be honest, I don't really think she did anything wrong. The top comment says, I'm glad she wasn't subtle. It's a real bummer that she turned out to be that type of person, but this could have been so much worse. Good on you for being strong and cooling it off. So a lot of people, I'm guessing, agree that she's a gold digger. I mean, she has stated those intentions, but if you were dating someone and they inherited millions of dollars, I don't know that suggesting that you be a stay-at-home wife or you go on a nice luxury vacation is that wild. They had been dating for a couple of years as well, so it's not like he inherited the money and like they were friends and all of a sudden she was interested. She was interested before he inherited millions of dollars. It seems like you dodged a bullet. It sounds like you made a very wise decision. Wow, this is so I was going here like, OP is a bit of an asshole for breaking up with this girl. A lot of people think that she was a gold digger, and I'm not denying from the information it definitely sounded like she was a gold digger and very happy, but maybe I'm giving her too much of the benefit of the doubt here, but I don't think the things she said were that crazy, especially to someone that you've been in a relationship with for years. Okay, here we go. It took quite a lot of comments to scroll down, but this is one of the stories where OP really isn't a reliable narrator. Exactly. We're not getting the full story here, and I'd love to hear her side of things. Yeah, I'm curious what you guys think on this one, because it seems like I am massively against the grain here. All right, next. I dumped my girlfriend over text this morning. I mean, that alone asshole move. Let's find out if he can justify it. We were together for a few years and started to talk about marriage. Marriage was something she had to sell me on because my 3 boys are my first priority. They're 6, 10 and 8. Okay. She became this totally different person on the topic of marriage. I've always been financially responsible. I only have 5 years left on my mortgage. I have a few life insurance policies totaling 1.5 million, a retirement account and investments. All of that is being left to my kids if something happens to me. My ex didn't have the same. So my girlfriend asked if I would leave everything to her and I said no. Fair enough. At least not until my kids were self-sufficient adults, but I'd still leave them something. Also fair. She got mad at that response. She said, so you'd leave your wife high and dry if you died? I said no, because she would have a job and understand that I'm not going to leave my young children high and dry as well. I mean, can you not leave some to both? Like give the kids some and the wife some as well? Even if I left you everything, I guarantee that it would be litigated and lawyers would get a piece. I mean, lawyers are involved when you're executing a will anyway, so I don't really get this final point. She told me I didn't get it. So this morning I woke up and texted her she was right. I don't get it. And she deserved to find someone who can give her everything she wants. I haven't heard back. Wow, that is cold. First of all, I never really can get behind dumping someone over text, especially over like a financial issue. Like if you don't see eye to eye, fair enough, but dumping them over text is just an asshole move. Unless they really warrant it, which I don't think she did here. Also, she wasn't saying like as a girlfriend, in which case I'd kind of back him and be like, listen, I'm going to leave all of my money to my kids rather than my girlfriend. She was saying like, if I was your wife, you'd still leave me nothing. I think that's bizarre. Yes, they're young children, like definitely leave the majority for them. Like I would prioritize them getting an education, their college fund, leaving them a decent amount of money, maybe in a trust fund or for them to access when they're 21. But like leaving your wife with nothing, maybe even like your share of the rent for a few months. Because like what happens if you die and then your wife's like, oh my goodness, all of a sudden the rent that I was paying half of, I now have to pay all of it or move out. Like, you know, give them a little bit of something surely. And for the grieving period where it's like, oh, I all of a sudden have to pay all the bills, all the mortgage and be at work and I'm grieving over my dead husband. I think this is a bit of an asshole move, I can't lie. I'm starting to think I'm picking the side of the gold digger every single time here. And I'm worried someone's going to be watching this being like, this man is susceptible to a gold digger. I'm sliding in those DMs right now. Okay, here, top comment, which is really important, which is what I was curious about. She would have wanted it all or she would have wanted to be included. Being included, so valid. Wanting it all and being like, forget about your kids and their education, obviously makes her the asshole. OP replied, that was the issue. She's a self-sufficient adult. My kids are not. Like I'm going to leave her my house and risk my kids not having one. Their mum rents and it's getting expensive for her. If she gets evicted, then she's fucked. My kids won't. But they haven't clarified whether they're saying they don't want their wife to have any of it or whether they're saying they don't want their wife to get all of it. Everything. All right, it seems like the comments are agreeing with me a little bit more on this one. Breaking up over text with someone you dated for years and on Valentine's Day seems unnecessarily cold. Exactly, that's what I said. Wait, I didn't even clock that this was Valentine's Day. February 14th. No way. That does make it so much worse. I don't understand why, if you were married, you wouldn't get her a life insurance policy and include her in any inheritance. Yeah, exactly. I agree. If they got married, surely there would be another life insurance policy and some of it would be going to her. I feel like the fact that you're not willing to do that basically says you don't want to marry that person. This is weird as well. I think there's some info missing to really have an opinion, like who takes care of them if they're still kids. If you're not going to leave them in the hand of your potential wife for whatever reason, that's a good reason to not get married. Why marry someone you wouldn't trust with your kids? Hell no, I only trust one person with my kids besides me, and that's my brother. I don't understand why you're in a relationship with this woman to begin with. Exactly, this is so bizarre. The more comments OP replies to, the more I'm certain that OP is the asshole here. They even address the more life insurance policies. I'm not paying any more money on life insurance policies. If she wanted to pay the premium for me and her, then okay. This guy is, I mean, you can tell he just doesn't really care about her or doesn't understand what it means to be someone's husband. Why would you ever marry someone you wouldn't be willing to get a life insurance policy for? Paying that premium for peace of mind knowing that if you die, they're going to be okay financially seems very bare minimum. Yeah, I was suspicious with the post, but the comments clarify this guy is an asshole. All right, next. My dad got his friends to kidnap me to teach me a lesson. What the hell? I, a 15-year-old girl, am doing really bad at school and I've been taking drugs and going to parties and stuff, and it makes my dad so annoyed at me. On the ropes already, crikey. Like every time we speak, we just end up screaming at each other. A few days ago, I was asleep at like 3 a.m. and 2 guys that I've never seen before came into my room and dragged me downstairs and put me in their van. This is awful. This is traumatizing. They gagged, tied me up and put something over my head so I couldn't see and then drove away somewhere. This is insane. I heard them get out and then they just left me there. I don't know how long I was there for, but I think it was at least an hour. I mean, this is just straight up a crime. Whatever the intentions were, this is false imprisonment, kidnapping. This is insane. I heard the vandals open and my dad pulled the thing off my head and him and the other 2 guys started laughing at me because I was crying and hyperventilating. I mean, this is literally going to cause lifelong trauma. My dad told me that he was teaching teaching me a lesson and told me that the two guys were his work friends. He took the gag off, untied me and drove me home in his car like nothing had happened. He's just been acting normal ever since. I don't understand why he'd do this to me. It doesn't even seem like he gave her a speech and was like, oh, I did this to teach you this lesson. It's just weird. I know I'm a shitty daughter, but why would he do this to me? What lesson is she supposed to learn from this? I thought I was gonna die. I've been on edge ever since. I don't want to go near him. I mean, that being on edge thing could last for the rest of her life. I haven't been sleeping because I'm scared it's gonna happen again. I can't believe this. I mean, I do feel like when a 15-year-old is going through this bad of a time, you probably do have to look at the parents and be like, what parts of play have you had in this? Because arguably, there's a good chance that bad parenting is involved. Oh, this is interesting. I think the big push for Scared Straight a few years ago backfired. Follow-up studies found that kids who went through that program had a much higher rate of being arrested and jailed or ended up in prison than kids who didn't go through that program. It turns out betraying, terrorizing, and abusing your already struggling child isn't actually good for them. This is insane. If I was this girl, I would genuinely be considering phoning a lawyer and child protection services. I wonder if the mum's still in the picture and what she has to say about this. On the very off chance that this girl is watching this video, please, or if you're in a similar situation, please reach out to someone, a school counselor, a headmaster, anyone. If your parents do anything like this, you may very well be in danger. Please speak to someone about it. Years ago, I taped over my parents' wedding video with Nightmare on Elm Street, and now I'm going to get caught. Okay, back to some light-hearted confessions. Years ago, I used my parents' wedding videotape to record Nightmare on Elm Street because these were the old days when that's what you did when you wanted to keep a movie. How times have changed. I realized what I had done after capturing the film, but by then the damage was done. I'm curious how old this person was at the time. All that remains now of the original footage is my mother preparing her bridesmaids, followed by some guy coming into the room and saying, hey. Then off it cuts to Kruger and stays that way for the rest of the film. I felt in terror when I realized it and put it back in the closet where I found it and forgot about the incident for years. Well, this weekend is my parents' 30th wedding anniversary. Congratulations to them. And they're renewing their vows and then coming back to the house with all their friends and the whole family to enjoy wedding style cake, champagne, and view the film together. Oh no. The worst parts are that they don't know what I've done, and my grandfather, the man who walked my mum down the aisle, passed away 2 years ago. No. And my grandmother, who was his wife, will be attending. Mom told me she's excited to see him dance with her mum in the video, and oh, I feel awful. This is heartbreaking. I am praying they tell them before it gets to this point. What I propose to do is leave tomorrow and say I have pre-existing plans for President's Day weekend and therefore won't be around for the celebration. So they're just gonna leave. This whole thing is set to happen on Saturday. I'll leave and then return in a few weeks. You've just got to admit to this, surely. I feel terrible and know that were I not smart enough to leave tomorrow, I'd be facing a world of embarrassment. Smart enough to leave tomorrow? You mean cowardly enough to leave tomorrow? This isn't a smart plan. You've just remembered what you've done and you're about to face the consequences and you're shying away from it. Honestly, that's gonna ruin their wedding anniversary as well. I reckon tell them now, nip it in the bud, get it over and done with, apologize so that they can make the most of their 30th wedding anniversary day itself. Tell your mum you want to have digital copies made, take the tape and have the first part transferred, then call and tell her the bad news. You are only able to pull the first few minutes and the tape just stops. You think it might be damaged due to age, but going to continue to work it and see what you can do. This way she at least gets the salvage parts. I would fast forward and see if there's anything after Freddy too. I mean, they're all just coming up with lies. My initial temptation would literally just be to tell the truth, but maybe there's nothing to gain by telling the truth. This sounds like a good plan, to be honest. You know, this is actually a good idea. I mean, I guess this is more of a white lie because you still get the kind of truth out that the tape is damaged and unrecoverable without saying that you were at fault for it. Surely you'd still feel guilty and want to make up for it somehow by being like, listen, I didn't have anything to do with this tape not working, but I feel bad, so let me pay for the cake or something, you know? Might as well fake your death at this point. The internet is terrible at giving advice.
Cheers, Jeff.
Hi, Mum, I've got some bad news. I can't make this weekend. I died. Thanks for the advice, internet. Oh my god, I just shit myself in a movie theatre and I'm on a date and I'm ready to delete myself. Why are you typing this mid shitting yourself in the movie theatre? So my date took me to a Mexican restaurant. This is such an American thing. I never hear of anyone going to a Mexican restaurant in the UK and shitting themselves after. But Americans talk about it like it's a rite of passage every time you go to Taco Bell. Anyway, so my date took me to a Mexican restaurant and the food was really good. However, he kept pushing me to try the habanero salsa because it's really good. He takes a chip and scoops a pretty nice amount and I try it and hold back tears tears as I gulp it down, but I get it done. We finished up dinner and I begin to sweat a little in the car on the way to the theatre. The salsa was definitely not settling well. We get tickets and it's about 20 minutes into the movie and I feel the urge to pass gas. In fact, it was not gas. I literally just painted the inside of my underwear. Oh my goodness. I mean, on a date, this doesn't sound like their boyfriend and girlfriend. This sounds like a normal date. Farting in front of your date, even if you're just squeaking out a silent one, is crazy. Surely excuse yourself and go to the bathroom. I'd much rather risk missing a bit of a movie than shitting myself or doing a smelly fart next to my date. Luckily, I caught myself after the first squirt. This is vile. The smell hadn't started spreading yet, and I'm just sitting here ready to die. So are they just sat there right now on their phone on Reddit with shit caking their underwear, just posting, waiting for their date to smell it? I don't know what to do. Luckily I have on black jeans, but holy shit, I'm scared if I get up the smell will hit him. The smell's gonna hit him anyway. Just go. At least if you go early, it might not have leaked through, and at least they'll think that you just farted and aren't aware that you shit yourself. The movie literally just started and I'm in full-blown panic. This is so bizarre. Update, I'm in the bathroom and I texted him, I got my period and I have to go. I cleaned up with some wet paper towels and soap and sprayed some perfume. We're headed back to his car now and he doesn't seem upset about it, but needless to say, I think I'm going to need to shower when I get home and crawl into my depression cave to process what just happened for a few days. So they haven't even told us if he could tell whether she shat herself or not. What a weird story. Go to the bathroom and throw away your underwear, clean your ass up and pretend nothing happened. You have to get up eventually. Exactly. I mean, I'm guessing that comment was written before the update, but surely that's the obvious thing to do, not posting on Reddit. You were 38 weeks pregnant 8 days ago. Are you on a hospital day? Interesting. So this person might be a bit of a serial liar. I'd be more understanding of someone shitting themselves in a theatre than someone playing on their phone. To be fair, yeah, shitting yourself, accident, excusable, not your fault. Really, but playing on your phone, just rude. I shit myself in front of my girlfriend all the time. It's kind of fun at this point. Why has this got 5 upvotes? Hopefully that's 5 people with terrible senses of humor thinking that this is funny, not being like, ha, me too, relatable. Well, that was a very wide variety of some very wild confessions. So if you enjoyed it, let me know. Maybe I can do a part 2. Maybe I can make it into a series. If so, please feel free to subscribe so you can catch the next one. Feel free to leave a like on this video. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye.